No position has as much depth as point guard. According to NBA.com, these 10 are the best of the best. Starting with a man that was constantly under the radar to earning a historic payday, to finally answering the bell with a career year. Mike Conley cracked 20 points per game for the first time in his NBA career. Unfortunately, he's missed 51 games the last 3 seasons. Will this be the year he reaches his full potential by playing a full season? Kyle Lowry is also coming off of his most productive season, but also injuries cost the Raptors leader 22 games. Lowry raised the stock by getting his fantasy owners more than 3 triples a night. Huge question mark at number 8. A hip injury will prevent Isaiah Thomas from making his Cavs debut on opening night against his former squad, and the team hasn't yet announced a timeline or a target date for when the 2-time All-Star is expected to be ready for game action. If and when he does return, IT's scoring numbers should take a hit as he plays alongside LeBron James. Kemba Walker continues to get better every season, and he was rewarded with his first All-Star selection in 2017. During Walker's first season, he shot just 30%, making only 1 3-pointer per game. Last year, the Hornets point guard hit 3 threes a game at nearly 40% shooting. Coming off a roller coaster year, Damian Lillard comes in at number 6. While he had his best scoring season, he saw a dip in his 3-point shooting and assists. A full season with Jusuf Nurkic at center should make playmaking a whole lot easier for Lillard. The grass and apparently the jersey is greener for Kyrie Irving. Coming off of arguably the best season of his career, Irving looks to enhance his numbers across the board as the Celtics' number 1 option. There will be an adjustment period for sure, as the C's will have 4 new starters. Something you ought to watch with Kyrie. He's missed 39 games over the last 2 seasons. Can a team have too many ball handlers? Well, that's the question facing Chris Paul as he enters his first season alongside James Harden in Houston. CP3 will share the ball handling load for the first time in his career, but expect that he still will flirt with double-digit helpers per night. Like so many others on this list, injuries have cost CP3 significant playing time the last 2 seasons. So for a key for him to be really good on your fantasy roster, he's got to be on the court. Number 3 says he's number 1 when it comes to playing both ends of the court. Last season, John Wall led the NBA in steals and ranked 2nd in assists per game. The Wizards leader became the first player in league history to average at least 20 points, 10 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, while getting you a half a block per game. He's Mr. Reliable, even when having to share the spotlight. As expected, Kevin Durant's arrival signaled slightly less opportunity for Steph Curry to score. However, the 2-time MVP was still a big-time playmaker and once again made a run at 50, 40, 90. What makes Curry even more valuable is his durability. In each of the last 5 seasons, Curry has played at least 78 games. And at number 1, the reigning MVP, but unlike a year ago, Russell Westbrook didn't lose a superstar heading into the season. This summer, Russ and the Thunder picked up Paul George. The addition should allow Russ to share some of the scoring load after last season's record-setting 42 triple-doubles. Is there any doubt that Russ won't make another run at breaking his own record? 2017-2018 is shaping up to be another impressive season, highlighting what has become the golden age for point guards in the NBA. Some of the league's brightest young stars play the 2, and 2017-2018 has the potential to be a breakout season for several of them. Here's how NBA.com ranks the top 10 2 guards this season. Call it the Russell Westbrook effect, or call it whatever you want. Bottom line, Victor Oladipo's numbers took a hit during his 1 year at OKC. Now entering his 5th season and playing for his 3rd different squad, VO should have a much larger role in the Pacers' offensive system. At number 9 is Charlotte's do-it-all guy, Nick Batum. Along with scoring and rebounding, the veteran swingman is active in the passing lanes, averaging about a steal per game in each of his last 3 seasons. Devin Booker is number 8, but the only number we are still talking about is 70. Booker's historic night in Boston may never be duplicated again, but it certainly put the league on notice. Booker is turning into one of the league's most dangerous scorers. In each of the last 3 seasons, DeMar DeRozan has seen a constant rise in his numbers. During that span, the All-Star guard increased his scoring average by 7 points. But imagine what a new emphasis on three-point shooting could do for DeRozan's fantasy numbers. One of the best at getting to the free throw line, but among the 27 players who scored at least 1,500 points last year in the NBA, DeRozan made by far the fewest threes. After a career year in 2015-2016, Chris Middleton only appeared in 29 games last season. But could an injury to another Buck equal big numbers this year? With Jabari Parker sidelined, Middleton will be asked to shoulder much more of the scoring load, which should get his scoring numbers back to the high teens. Prior to last season, Klay Thompson didn't think the addition of Kevin Durant would cost Klay the numbers he was used to putting up. Klay wasn't wrong. His points, rebounds, assists, threes, and efficiency were nearly identical to the previous 2 seasons. It's no coincidence that a career high in games played equaled a career high across the board for Bradley Beal in 16-17. And looking forward, more threes in Scott Brooks' offense makes Beal a very attractive fantasy pickup in 17-18. At number 3 is C.J. McCollum. The combo guard scores at a very high rate and does so very efficiently. He's played 80 games in each of his last 2 seasons, making it easy to expect even more consistency from CJ in the season to come. Jimmy Butler has emerged as one of the best two-way guards in the league. Making the move to Minnesota now, he'll be asked to set the tone defensively. But will Butler get as many shots as he got the last couple of seasons in Chicago as he plays alongside Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins? His scoring may take a dip, but look for Butler to be placed in a whole lot more pick and roll situations with Towns, showcasing Jimmy Butler's playmaking abilities. At number 1 is James Harden, who is returning to the shooting guard spot after making a serious run at league MVP as the Rockets point guard last season. Chris Paul shouldn't negatively impact Harden's scoring and three-point shooting. However, it will be difficult for the Beard to get the near double-digit assists each night. And that's a look at NBA.com's top 10 shooting guards heading into the 2017-2018 season. In today's game, athletic wings with length are at a premium. From budding stars ready to erupt onto the scene to the league's biggest and best, this is NBA.com's top 10 small forwards for the 17-18 season. Scoring has never been a problem for Andrew Wiggins, but in his 4th season, the expectation is that his stats will translate to wins. With Jimmy Butler joining the young Wolves, Wiggins will have a hard time matching his nearly 24 points per game. However, it's the other areas of his game that the team needs Wiggins to improve upon in order to get team more W's, which starts with steals and rebounds. At number 9, Harrison Barnes proved he could be a team's leading scorer, producing 19 points per game in his first year in Dallas, becoming much more comfortable in a role that should enhance his play. But fantasy owners would love to see Barnes become more of a box score filler this season. Whether he's in New York or elsewhere, you know our number 8 small forward will be a bucket getter. He's Carmelo Anthony. Last season with the Knicks, Melo had his best season from three-point territory since the 13-14 campaign. But how will he be used moving forward, and which team will he be on? We will continue to be on Melo watch. At number 7 is Otto Porter. Although Porter's numbers don't stand out like his counterparts, you look a bit deeper, you see his shooting percentages can stand with the very best. Porter was among the league leaders all season from behind the arc, and his ability to create havoc defensively makes him an appealing fantasy option. After posting career highs in points, rebounds, and free throw percentage, Gordon Hayward opted to move east. And while he will still be counted on for big-time production, the Celtics have a lot more scoring options than Hayward played with in Utah, which also means things should come a lot easier for Hayward. A new home this season also for number 5 on our list. After missing 76 games during the 14-15 season, Paul George has shown he's back to full strength, missing just a total of 8 the last 2 years. George won't be asked to play as much as he did in Indy or counted upon for as much scoring, but he still will be expected to complement Russell Westbrook, getting a lot more looks from distance, benefiting from all the attention Russell Westbrook draws from the opposing defense. He is still the best player in the world, but when it comes to our fantasy rankings, NBA.com says LeBron James comes in as the 4th best small forward. Will the subtraction of Kyrie Irving and unknown status of Isaiah Thomas mean an increase in production from LeBron, or will the lack of all-star point guard talent hurt his numbers? Kawhi Leonard, believe it or not, will be asked to do even more to start the season due to injury to Tony Parker. The elite defender has shown that his offensive game is also at an elite level. Now his playmaking abilities will be tested, hopefully leading to more dimes for fantasy owners. Fresh off winning a title and Finals MVP, Kevin Durant is the odds-on favorite right now to win his second regular season MVP. With a year under his belt in Steve Kerr's system, it's scary to think that KD will be even better than he was in year one in the Bay. The reigning most improved player comes in with high expectation as NBA.com's #1 overall small forward. Giannis Antetokounmpo set career highs in 6 different statistical categories last season. At just 22 years old, the forward still has a whole lot of room to grow. And if he continues on this trajectory, he may answer Kobe's challenge to win MVP this season. Small forwards, big-time fantasy performers. That's your top 10 heading into this season. Power and finesse. Today's best power forwards are tasked with a variety of roles, and here's how NBA.com ranks them 10 through 1 heading into the new season. Entering year 4, the Lakers are hoping Julius Randle is ready for a breakout campaign, in turn making him a more viable fantasy option. Last season, Randle improved his scoring and assist numbers, but he was in foul trouble, costing him important minutes on the court. At number 9, Dario Saric. He was easily overshadowed by Joel Embiid. However, unlike his fellow Rookie of the Year candidate, Saric was able to stay on the court, playing 81 games. But how much run is available this year with all the young talent vying for time in the Sixers rotation? During LaMarcus Aldridge's last 5 seasons in Portland, the big man averaged 22 points and 9.5 rebounds per game. During his second season with the Spurs, Aldridge's numbers dropped to the lowest they've been since his rookie year. The Spurs and fantasy owners alike want Aldridge to be more efficient and way more aggressive on the glass. Do more threes make up for less blocks? That's the question you'll have to answer when considering Serge Ibaka, who went from a perennial Defensive Player of the Year candidate to a modern-day stretch 4. Entering his first full year in Toronto, the Raptors are making changes to their offense, which could result in Ibaka taking even more shots from distance, but also keeping him away from the paint and possibly less opportunity to get rebounds. In at number 6 is Kevin Love, who returned to All-Star form last season and should put up even bigger numbers this year. Love very well could be the guy who benefits most from Kyrie Irving's departure and IT's injury, upgrading Love to the Cavs' #2 option on offense. Few players have meant as much to the success of their team while taking on so many different roles as Paul Millsap meant to the Atlanta Hawks. The 4-time All-Star heads now to Denver as a veteran presence on and off the court for the Nuggets. He should benefit from the Joker's crazy court vision, but how many games and how many minutes will the 32-year-old be able to offer this team, which believes they are ready to win right now? At number 4 is Blake Griffin. When he is on the court, he has been a great fantasy option, but lately it's been a fantasy that BG is on the court a whole lot. Griffin has missed 83 games over the last 3 seasons. Here's hoping BG's new deal comes with a fresh bill of health. Third-year leap is the hope for number 3, Kristaps Porzingis. In year 2, he was way more efficient than his rookie season, which increased his scoring average by 4 points, but KP only played in 65 games. No longer restricted by the triangle, the Unicorn is primed for a breakout season highlighted by the possibility of more 3-point attempts. Number 2 on this list is the #1 defensive player in the voting. Surrounded by an endless supply of offensive firepower, Draymond Green saw a dip in his scoring and assist numbers, allowing Green to focus on his specialty, anchoring the league's second-best defense. Green led the NBA in steals per game and was among the leaders in total blocks. And at number 1, who else but Anthony Davis? While AD is always going to fill up the box score, the key is being able to be available to his team. It took 5 seasons, but AD finally was healthy enough to play more than 70 games. The result? 4th in scoring, 7th in rebounds, and 2nd in blocks. With a summer and full camp to figure out how he works best with fellow big man DeMarcus Cousins, Boogie and the Brow could be a dominant duo on the court and in your fantasy squad. The 10 best bigs come in all different shapes and sizes, working hard to help you win your daily and season-long fantasy lineup. In an age dominated by perimeter play, today's big men must keep up with the times. And evolving with the times is exactly what makes so many of NBA.com's top 10 fantasy centers so dangerous. We begin with one for the old school fans. At number 10, in a short amount of time, Jusuf Nurkic made a big impact on the Blazers. In just his third home game in Portland, Nurkic recorded the NBA's first 28-point, 20-rebound, 8 assists, 6 block game since Charles Barkley in 1986. If Nurkic can remain healthy, he will be the defensive anchor the Blazers have desperately needed. Years of injury concern are now a thing of the past for Brook Lopez. After completing his third straight season playing at least 72 games, Lopez got shipped to the Lakers. Going west with him, the 134 threes he made during his final season in Brooklyn, the most of any five-man in the NBA. Right behind Lopez in three-point makes by a center was Marc Gasol. Entering his 10th year in the league, Gasol is the oldest among the top 10 centers. However, he was also the only five to average at least 19 points and 4 assists last season. Take that for data. With Paul George being shipped out of Indiana, the time is now for third-year big man Miles Turner. His increased touches will pair well with his ability on the other end, where last season Turner blocked the second most total shots in the league. No one played as few games and yet was as polarizing as Joel Embiid last season. In just 31 games in a span of 3 NBA seasons, Embiid has shown flashes of takeover ability. Without anyone giving us clarity on minute restrictions or if there is any clarity on his status, Embiid still very much a risk-reward scenario. Last summer, Hassan Whiteside got paid, then he cashed in for his fantasy owners, leading the league in rebounding and coming in 4th in blocks per game. At number 4 is a defensive specialist, Rudy Gobert. Last season, the Stifle Tower became just the 4th player in the last 20 years to record 1,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and block 200 shots in a single season. Let's get serious with the Joker. And fitting, Nikola Jokic is in at number 3 after his record-setting triple-double 16-17 season. He had 6 of them, the most in a season by any foreign-born player. With the Nuggets adding veteran talent, the 22-year-old might just be scratching the surface. A summer body transformation has DeMarcus Cousins believing this can be a special season in New Orleans. Coming off this 4th straight year averaging a double-double, Cousins and Anthony Davis have the potential to be the NBA's best and most dominant as well as unique 4-5 tandem in the league. And the number 1 center has the ability to score from anywhere on the court, which is why Karl Anthony Towns scored the 5th most total points last season. He also pulled down the 5th most total rebounds, while also hitting more than a 3 per game. 3 times, Cat, in fact, went off for 40. And to top it off, in 2 seasons, Towns has never missed a game. And that is NBA.com's top 10 centers heading into the 17-18 season.